naman ako. Ano ka ba? Nakabat ka naan? Oh, bagal na eh. Reset sa yung webinar.
Asukan puti ka lang.
Wash lang ngayon po yun.
Ha?
Wash po. Anong size po yan?
May triple XL?
Ay, yung ano lang eh, double XL lang po yun. Ilan po yan? Ilan po?
Ito lang.
Ha?
Ito ka lang isa.
Alam po yan? Merengue?
Napara pa tayo. Hindi ako nga. Bakit na lang ako. Ano na? Tiger. Dalawang yun. Kasi kaya ito dito ng concentrate naman.
Companies. So, been there, done that.
Opo.
Training manuals and academic writing. Since I became a coach and freelance trainer, I meet a lot of instructors like me. So what I do is also explored offering my services to them and help them create their workbooks, their training modules. It was 2018 when I decided that I want to shift from freelancing to business. So I created the online school Writing Hacks Academy. Perhaps that's how you were able to access this webinar. And also as an entrepreneur, it's an advantage that I know how to write because I can create the emails that I send, the sales pages that I have for my websites. And I also offered product description copywriting and content management for a client from Canada, which I'm still part of as of this recording. I think my plus factor in being a writing coach to aspiring freelancers is that I have the fundamentals. I know the fundamentals in different forms of writing, and I've experienced delivering these services. There are some aspiring writers who do not know yet what niche market or what specific service to pursue. And if you ask me, because I had experience in all these, I can easily give you a guideline or pointers to see if the job that you're aspiring for suits your personality and also your capacity. So, as a writing coach, I form different communities in Writing Hacks Academy to help deliver the courses, the webinars that I put up. So we have Pen Movers. This is a free Facebook group or community where I'm targeting aspiring authors and content creators. We have Pen Warriors. This is my group for freelance writers, and I'll explain how you can be part of this after my presentation. I also have Writerpreneurs. So these are entrepreneurs and business owners who want to use writing to promote their products and services. I just want to share a few testimonials from my students or those whom I've coached to give you an idea as well on my background and how I can help you through this webinar. So one of them is Steph, a copywriter for lawyers and legal firms. She enrolled in 2 of my membership programs, Pen Warriors and also Writerpreneurs. I also have consultants on board as my students or trainees. One of them is Harold. So as a financial consultant, he creates content on social media and even in his blog so that he would attract leads or prospective clients to know about him. Alright? Thank you for listening to my introduction. I guess we'll go now to answering your question. What is freelance writing? Looking at the words freelance and writing, I want to go back to the origin first, or yung history of the term freelance. It was coined in the 1800s. If you play mga role-playing games or watch medieval-themed movies, you would know that there are characters like swordsmen, mercenaries, knights, cavaliers, right? So there were people called lancers, or the soldiers in the army carrying the lances as weapons. And back then, they can be hired by different or multiple nations or clients. So meaning their loyalty to just one kingdom or nation is not required. They can work for as many boss or client possible. That's why the word free was combined with their weapon, which is the lance. Alright, so that's what's happening today when we use the word freelance, and if you combine it for writers, meaning we can have different ways to get paid. We write in exchange for profit, and we charge either by the hour, per project, or number of words. So remember these three, because when you get writing projects, you have to find out how you will be paid, or what will be the basis for the rates given to you. You also work as an independent contractor, so you're not employed by a company or organization. They're simply outsourcing you, or you have a contract covering a specific duration. And as a freelancer, you will market your own service. You can do this full-time or part-time, but it will be you who will represent yourself with the clients, unless, of course, you will apply to work under agencies who will find clients for you. Now, how does freelance writing work? If you simplify it, I just have like two illustrations, one at the top, one at the bottom. Okay, so how it works, first you need to find your client, close the deal, and deliver your work, or have clients find you, close the deal with them, and deliver your work. The writing part is just under the third step, which is delivering your work. But the first two involves a sales and marketing process. So I'm showing you this because the results of how many clients you'll get or how much you'll earn would depend on these. If you continuously make an effort to find clients or establish a base where clients find you, then you can close the deal with the materials that you provide them, your sample portfolio, your rates, how you negotiate the terms, and then the last part will be where your writing skills come in delivering your work. So I think from that illustration, you have a feel that succeeding in this would rely on how you market your services. And you have to believe in yourself first so that clients will believe in you, especially if you're a newbie. Since I mentioned that we're marketing our own services here, our personal brand. So you're the best person to explain and believe in what you can do for the client. Now, get your pen and paper because I want you to assess yourself in short list possible services that you can offer. I have here a table with 6 categories you can choose from on what writing service you can deliver to clients. First is content writing. If you want to create website articles and blog posts that post under this category, mainly you're writing to give information. Copywriting is about writing to sell or influence. Most of the materials requested here are website sales letters or sales pages. If you create advertisements like Facebook advertisement copy or even sales-related emails, then this is the skill that you need to master. We also have technical writing. If you have experience or interested in doing instructional ebooks, reports, manuals, even long-form proposals, so this can be the niche or form of writing that you can explore. If you like doing graphs and tables, perhaps you can also excel in this area. If you've written for your career or profession and you're familiar with writing effective resumes, memos, business letters, email correspondence templates, then business writing could be for you. For the creative ones who love producing stories, novels, poetry, then creative writing can be an option. And last, for academic writing, there are people getting hired to create ebooks, textbooks, research papers, and even academic essays. Now, after choosing from the form of writing I showed earlier, you can shortlist your topic, meaning if you will do website articles, what topic would you like to write about? Are you experienced in finance? Would you like to write about health and nutrition, etc.? And then think of the marketer industry. Think of your target client. Are you going to target e-commerce business owners? Are you going to target life coaches who need to outsource writing services? Are you going to target internet marketers or perhaps authors who need help with promoting their books through the blog posts that you create? So to give you an idea, these are some of the niches chosen by some students that I've trained. So an example would be content writer for travel businesses, email copywriter for life coaches, legal copywriter for law firms, blog article writer for sports and male grooming, SEO content writer for online coaches, resume and cover letter writing for executives. So note that you have the specific service that you offer, plus your target market or target customer, so that when you introduce yourself, you appear like a specialist and your customer or prospective client would feel that you're really the one suitable to deliver their needs. But despite giving you these tips today, perhaps you would still feel stuck or paralyzed in analyzing what your niche will be. So let me remind you that the only way to test your idea and see if it works is to market your service. So perhaps you're not yet 100% sure if you'll get a demand as an academic writer, for example. But if you just try to put yourself out there and say that this is the service you offer, then you will know if clients will be attracted to it. You can have a backup or option number 2 for the service that you'd like to offer until you will get a sense of what people are looking for when you publish or advertise your services. If you need a detailed list of services you can offer, I suggest you download a free copy of Freelance Writing. Just go to this URL after watching the webinar if you haven't received your copy yet. Now, the next question to answer is to look for a demand for freelance writing. Is there a demand for it? Before you jump to any venture, whether career or business, of course you want to know if people are looking for someone to hire for these jobs and also give a good amount of money for payment or rates, correct? So one way to help you find out if freelance writing is in demand is to go to these freelance job websites. And I also suggest that you type and look for the keyword freelance writer. Just see how many job listings there are. So if you see almost 100 or more, it means that you won't have a problem applying for jobs because there are lots of opportunities. Also in Facebook, you can search for groups using the keyword freelance writing. So if you see a lot of groups you can join, perhaps 10 or 20, it means that you have an idea where you can find future projects, and there are members in those groups that you can reach out or connect to, possibly referring you to job listings for writers. Now for the rates, these are the top 3 sites that I recommend for you to explore. Go check out the rates for your chosen niche or writing service. But for our example, since most of the beginners would explore content writing or article writing, that's what I selected for this example. The EFA.org says that ghostwriters can charge $50 to $60 per hour. When you're a ghostwriter, it means that when you create an article or maybe a book, you won't get published as the author. Your client will hold the rights as the author or creator of what you've produced. So you're like a ghost because you created it, but you don't get acknowledged for your work. MakeALivingWriting.com also gave a $20 to $65 per hour rate, or $1 per word for blog articles. I'm sure that for 2020 or 2021, this has improved. Copywriting Dojo, this is a Philippine-based group. You can check them out on Facebook. They had a 2018 rate card among their members and surveyed how much are they getting. So for short form blog under 1,000 words, usually members would charge $3 to $50 per hour, or as much as 20 cents per word. Now, for personal experience, what I love about freelancing and freelance writing is that I can control how much income or increase in profit that I want. So, for example, my 1-year earning for 2018 would be like more than $500,000 pesos. And that's coming from 62 transactions, or let's say an average of 5 clients a month. Each of them can pay me an average of, let's say, 10,000 pesos per transaction. But the year after, with the same number of clients, I can earn double. Now, consider that we have inflation each year, right? So goods and services are increasing. But if you can double how much you charge your services for in a year, that is really great. And compared to employment, usually when you get employed in a company, they'll only give you a certain percentage increase per year. Like, some would have a maximum of 5,000 pesos increase from their salary each year and subject to performance evaluation. If you're a freelancer, you have control on how much you'll charge, and you can also set the annual increase that you have for yourself, depending on how much your skills have grown and what you're able to produce. So notice that in 2020, just for 3 clients alone, I can earn like almost $5,000 or 250,000 pesos in 2 months. So if I can spend more time on it, put much effort on it, I can set how much I'd like to get as an income. So note that all these figures I showed are just for doing freelance writing part-time. There are months when I won't accept projects, and there are months like September to November when I can decide to open up slots for projects and really work to fundraise. So it's good to ask yourself what your goal is when it comes to freelancing, because for me, It was happiness in flexibility. Happiness because I enjoy what I do. I love writing, and I feel that I'm flexible with my schedule. I can choose to accept projects and do writing jobs when I want to. I can take a break and pause my gigs or accepting writing clients if I would like to focus on business or family and other things. So receiving my desired profit was a bonus because it wasn't really my intent at first to set yung income amount. And when I started in 2011, the rate that I receive is just 40 pesos or $1 per 300 word article. And I know that is way too low. It's 2021, but there are some companies or even entrepreneurs who give low rates. Back then I accepted the meager rate because I knew I was building my portfolio. I didn't want to start by giving free articles to clients. At least I'm getting paid and I also get projects involved. Meaning it's not just a one-time article request for 40 pesos. It was a recurring project and I can complete like at least 10 articles per week that time. Parang yung extra 1,600 to 2,000 pesos that month can cover my transportation expense for a month, which was helpful for me then. Alright? Now, with all the excitement of the potential of being a freelance writer, I want you to also check with yourself, are you qualified? So, right now you may think that no matter how good you are, you still feel nervous about this. Let me remind you first that even experts would feel that way. Successful writers would still have a feeling that no, we're not experts at this. Sometimes we're faking it till we make it. But I think I share this because I want you to have that boost of confidence that you can do this, and it's natural to doubt yourself in the beginning, but use that doubt to grow and really learn about what you're getting into. So for me, when it comes to skill set, these are the things that I want you to consider to qualify as a freelance writer. First, you have to be fluent in English. Unless you will write in local languages such as maybe Bisaya or Filipino Tagalog, to open yourself up to the global market, you need to be fluent in conversing in English and also writing in English. Have basic knowledge about your chosen surveys. For example, if from the 6 categories I showed earlier, you selected business writing or content writing. Try to learn the fundamentals, the basic principles in the service that you'll provide. Because each form of writing or each of those categories require different techniques. And if you know those techniques, if you know the fundamental principles, that will really boost your confidence and execute this professionally because you know what you're doing. Competent research skills, regardless of what service you need to pursue, is important because we do not create content or written work from scratch. There's always research involved. So it's a plus if you know how to cite sources, if you know how to rewrite and paraphrase sources that you found online so that you can avoid plagiarism. So these are really, for me, crucial skills that you need to learn, research. Alright? The next one is project management. I know that the term may sound complicated, but what I mean by project management is understanding the scope of work, like the entire process of what you do from getting clients up to delivering new service to them. Aside from scope of work, second is managing your time because you'll be the one arranging your own calendar and also presenting to the client how much time you need to complete a project. So there's always a calendar or of activities or steps that you need to do to complete a project, especially if, for example, you chose creating ebooks and books, and it may take weeks or months to finish. You really need to be on top of it. Project management also involves managing your resources, seeing if you're already profitable, checking if you have expenses, and your profit from freelance writing is enough to cover those. Next is being adaptable in using digital tools. Basic would be Microsoft Word and Google Documents, where you'll write your outputs most of the time. But if you're familiar with tools online to check your grammar, to do citations, to check for plagiarism, that will be an advantage for you. Alright? And last would be customer service oriented, because you also act as your own customer service person. You negotiate with the clients directly if they have problems or concerns about your outputs. You cannot have someone to talk to them on your behalf, unless of course you have you're part of an agency coordinating with them. But usually when you're starting, you want to do this yourself to maximize the profit. So it's you who will be accepting or addressing their complaints, if any. Now after the character traits, after the skill set, let's do the character traits, because attitude is also important in sustaining your freelance writing career. First, are you ambitious? Meaning, do you set goals? Do you have a long-term vision of where your freelance writing efforts will take you? Your ambition could be to set an amount of income per month. Your ambition could be to do this full-time, or your ambition could be use freelance writing as a stepping stone to become an author. But what's important is that you have a goal. You have a purpose in mind. Next is you have to be a risk taker, especially if you go into this full time, because there are months when you may not have any clients, and there are months when you have too much inquiries or clients. You just don't know. And any effort to switch from one career path to another involves taking risks. Next is persistence. This is if this is a long-term goal for you, there will be challenges, and you just need to keep going, trust the process. So if you receive negative feedback from clients, or if there are times when your proposals get rejected, you still have to keep going to keep the income and projects coming. Discipline is important, especially if you'll be working from home. You need to set a schedule for yourself and avoid temptations like Netflix or going back to the bed in the morning instead of doing your writing task. It's an advantage if you're creative, if you naturally enjoy looking at your finished output, having ideas, if you enjoy writing and having people read or appreciate your work. That really is a plus factor, because I believe that happiness is connected with productivity. You can be more productive and gain results if you're happy with what you're doing. Organize, especially if you will handle multiple clients at once. And that involves different sets of calendar, different requirements for each of the client. You need to be able to organize your files, printed files, maybe the files on your laptop, and also be able to explain to them in an organized manner how your process are, where can they find their deliveries, etc. And last is inquisitive. For me, a good sign that you have a potential in freelance writing is if you're interested or have questions about a specific topic you're assigned to. I think one of the best rewards that I got as a freelance writer is that I would learn things that outside of the usual topics I would normally learn about. So it also gives me an opportunity to ask questions and learn from my clients whom I worked with. So, for example, some niches that I have enjoyed exploring would be pet training, beauty and cosmetics, relationships, online business, real estate, finance, health and diet. So, if not on my own effort, at least by pursuing those writing projects, I'm able to learn things. I'm able to expand my interest and also try to absorb what I can while I'm doing research for these clients and while I'm trying to get ideas from them on what's to be included in their articles or books. Now, I want you to answer the question, is it for me? Maybe you will tally or you will go back to my previous slides, score yourself how many traits out of 7 do you have or how many skills out of 6 do you have and give an honest score for yourself. But before you do so, here are my last tips para to guide you in answering these questions. Usually when making decisions, you can have a list of pros and cons, yung positive and negative effects of pursuing a path. And for freelance writing, let's start with the pros. So your income has no limit. Like I said, unlike employment, you can strategize on how you can earn a specific salary. If you have a target amount per month, let's say 100,000 pesos, just divide it into 20 days, for example, your desired number of working days per week. And then you will have 5,000 pesos, right? So it means that if you want to have that income per month, you need to book a project worth 5,000 pesos a day. And that's something you can strategize. Flexible work hours, you can do assignments, you can do projects during the day, during the night, because clients are mostly after when you can submit the final output. Work where you want, so since you're working using your laptop, you can do your job remotely, at home, in coffee shops. You can even travel bringing your laptops, as long as there's Wi-Fi connection and internet, and you can use that for your research. Then you can perform your freelance writing services. You're also passionate about your job. When you wake up in the morning, you don't need to drag yourself from your bed and feel grumpy because you're excited in what you're doing. You know that you're really into writing and it's something that you enjoy. You're also independent and in charge because you don't have a boss to look over you. And you're in charge of how much clients you'll accept in a month. You will also have the independence to set your terms with them or your rates. Consequence would be wearing all the hats, like what I said earlier. You will act as your own finance person, customer service person, marketer. You'll be a one-man or one-woman team as a freelance writer. You pay your own taxes and you have no benefits. So usually in the Philippines, there's a certain amount required before considering to apply for taxes, and if it's below like the annual income requirement, you can just get less. And then You also have no benefits like medical insurance, life insurance. You just need to claim that for yourself, or plan how you can have this eventually. If you will do freelancing full time or disengage from your employer, you have limited social interaction. So unlike a physical office where you have workmates near your cubicles, usually we go for webinars, just online video calls, and schedule our own time to meet with friends, and that's not on a day-to-day basis. Work isn't always consistent, meaning expect that there are times, there are months when you will have less inquiries or fewer inquiries than what you would normally have. So having backup savings is important. And then it can be a challenge to manage multiple clients as well. It's something that you can learn over time as you get used to it. So, considering that, I want you to ask yourself again, knowing the pros and cons and having a reality check of what your lifestyle will be like as a freelance writer, is this for you? So remember, it's not enough to follow your heart in choosing a career path. You need to involve your mind and find out what it takes to get there so you can commit. Others simply say that writing is my passion and I will do this because I love writing. But you need to have the facts. You need to understand like what you're learning right now, and an aspiring freelance writer should know these things. That's why I also aim to share these with you. Freelance writing is a quest, it's a journey, it's an adventure, and you just have to ask yourself, will you be willing to take the leap? Now, Writing Hacks Academy has a program to guide you in your decision. Maybe you're starting as a freelance writer or have been doing this for the last 2 years without getting the results you want. So I want to introduce to you in our program called Pen Warriors, where we aim to help you with 3 things. First is to build your writing portfolio. So you have us equip you on how you can create a comprehensive, competent portfolio, and we'll also check your work so that you're confident that you have the best sample work that clients would look at. We'll also assist you in landing your first freelance writing gig. Usually, the challenge if you're doing this alone is when you're actually having real client inquiries and negotiating with them, you don't know who to ask, you don't know what to answer. If you're part of a community, if you have a coach looking after your journey, we're just a phone call away. You can ask us a message away if you want to seek advice on how to answer these prospective clients and give them the best deal that you can. And also, equip you so that you can acquire clients on your own. Eventually, you will learn a process so that you can get recurring or repeat clients and get hired for freelance writing projects. So what we're offering in Pen Warriors is a community membership. So this is a lifetime membership, meaning as long as Writing Hacks Academy and our business exists, you'll be part of us. You have access to selected paid webinars of Writing Hacks Academy. We also do what we call regular mastermind sessions. Mastermind sessions are online events where you don't only learn from me as your instructor or coach, but you also interact with other members to learn best practices and have accountability. You also have access to writing job announcements connected with your chosen niche. Next is an online course called Freelance Writing Roadmap. The lifetime access for this is valued at 5,000 pesos. But we wanted to include this because you still need to study yung system that we told you about on how you can win clients, manage yung operations of your freelance writing service. You can study this through the self-paced online course. And of course, we will review sample written works that you have. If you have 2 articles, 2 ebooks, or a sales letter, a sales page output you want us to check, at least you would have someone to look at them for you, give you feedback, give instructions on how to improve it and organize it into a comprehensive portfolio. You can access all these for an introductory price of 8,000 pesos, such as a one-time fee, and you have lifetime membership, unlike other programs that you have to pay annually or each month. For this one, you're part of the community for only a small amount. And I want to share with you some of the profiles of pen warriors whom you'll also meet in the group. One of them is Camille. She's an English tutor and now equipping herself as an SEO content writer. We also have Nelson, a call center representative who wants to write inspirational articles. Paulette is a marketing manager. She has experience now in doing social media posts and even working on training manuals. So even for a first project, your investment fee for the registration can be recovered usually in less than 6 months. Rochelle was an accountant and now she's an email copywriter. So it doesn't matter what your background is, because if you tell us what you want to become, how you brand yourself, what niche market you'd like to pursue, then you can create a portfolio that would resonate with them. Regardless of what your background is, you can be who you want to become as a writer. And now Rochelle is serving online course creators or life coaches as an email copywriter. We also have Arthur. His background is in HR, but now he's blogging for sports and male grooming. He has also accepted freelance writing projects in the course of the program. Now, if you're thinking that age matters and you're too old or doesn't have the energy for this, we have Mary Ann, who's already a grandmother. She's a hotel and travel industry practitioner, and she also became a content writer, offering article service writing for the industry she used to be part of. So somehow, her experience, her background has been helpful for her as well. Now, just go to writinghacksacademy.com/pen-warriors to learn more about the details of this program. And I hope that after deciding that, yes, freelance writing is for me, you'll take action and help us guide you in launching yourself as a freelance writer. Remember that it's much easier to have someone guide you through the process. That way, you can also minimize failure and get the results that you want faster. Thank you for watching this webinar and letting me be part of your freelance writing journey. Alright, we're down to the second part of our webinar, which is answering your questions live. So I know you were watching a recorded video earlier, but we're answering on chat, and I'm also here on standby to receive your questions. So we already had some questions typed on chat, but before I answer them, my colleague Camille will play video instructions on how you can download your certificate. So we will repeat it twice so you can get your instructions.
Hi there. Did you learn from our training today? Here are instructions on how you can claim your certificate. Go to bit.ly/ijointhewebinar. Signing the form serves as your attendance. Enter the details we need for your e-certificate, such as your full name, email address, and webinar feedback. Now here's good news. You may join our takeaway contest and get a chance to win 300 pesos via GCash. Here are the mechanics. 1. Post your takeaway from our webinar on your Facebook wall within 48 hours after the webinar schedule you join. 2. Tag Writing Hacks Academy's Facebook page. 3. Winners will be announced on our Facebook page every 30th of the month. We will reach out to the winners to ask for your GCash, BPI, or BDO online transfer information. Criteria for judging includes content of the post, number of likes that you get for your post, and effort or creativity. Again, we're happy that we met in our webinar today. See you again next time. Hi there. Did you learn from our training today? Here are instructions on how you can claim your certificate. Go to bit.ly/I joined the webinar. Signing the form serves as your attendance. Enter the details we need for your e-certificate, such as your full name, email address, and webinar feedback. Now here's good news. You may join our takeaway contest and get a chance to win 300 pesos via GCash. Here are the mechanics. 1. Post your takeaway from our webinar on your Facebook wall within 48 hours after the webinar schedule you join. 2. Tag Writing Hacks Academy's Facebook page. 3. Winners will be announced on our Facebook page every 30th of the month. We will reach out to the winners to ask for your GCash, BPI, or BDO online transfer information. Criteria for judging includes content of the post, number of likes that you get for your post, and effort or creativity. Again, we're happy that we met in our webinar today. See you again next time.
Okay, I hope you were able to capture yung link natin. And can you show your thumbs up button or thumbs up emoji if you can hear me clearly? Can you click yung thumbs up emoji? Thank you so much. Later on, I will ask some of you to turn on your videos too para we can have our class picture. But we have here 5 questions so far. And you can still type. We have enough time. Talaga nag-set aside kami ng time to answer questions. So I think we can answer up to 10 questions. Depende sa what we'll receive. But I hope we have reserved until 9:30 p.m. But if wala nang tanong by that time, we can dismiss yung session natin, no? Let me just go to yung link where I have yung mga questions. I think the first one we received was from Jillian. Yan. Sabi niya, what difficulties did you encounter when you started freelancing? I shared in my story earlier that I started freelance writing part-time. So back then I had a full-time job as a marketing manager. And yung first challenge that I experienced was handling my time and finishing yung number of articles that I need to deliver in a week. So sometimes I need to write 10 to 20 articles. Back then I started with 300 words. And I will do it when I get home, like even start at 9 or 10 p.m. or on weekends. Like I will spend the whole day, Saturday and Sunday, to deliver that. What's good about it was the client I got didn't need me to give outputs every day, so arrangement was weekly. So that made me manage my time at least. So I think it's good if you're prepared in that with para that kind of obstacle. If you think like if you're a working mom or if you have a full-time job, if you think yung time would be a challenge to you, then find a job or client na who can accept na instead of daily submissions, pwedeng weekly or pwedeng end of month. So, aside from that, I don't think, and I always would say this to newbies, because when I got my first project, it was health articles on a freelancing site. That time, it was freelancer.com. I didn't have any reviews, but the client who reached out to me already trusted me with around 40 articles, meaning per batch yung order niya. And what I had that time was yung sample articles that I have or yung portfolio. So if you're thinking you don't have experience yet, I hope that won't hinder you from approaching clients or offering your services, because there will be clients who are willing to test out what you can do as long as you have sample works. So even me, I'm now an entrepreneur sa Writing Hacks Academy. If I will outsource someone, whether for writing or not, especially if I want to parang save budget din muna sa umpisa, I'm willing to go for newbies as long as they can show me their sample work. So that was a challenge for me. I hope I was able to answer that, Jillian. Wait lang, hanapin ko kung nandito pa siya sa, sa view para I can see. Yan, or just say hi na lang sa comment. And then next, I think connected yung isang tanong dito. Sige, let's go to building your portfolio because I mentioned already na even if I'm new, as long as I have sample works, that can be good as proof of what you can do. So I'll ask Camille to post. We have a blog on our website about 5 ways to do your portfolio. And for this Q&A, I'll only share 2 that I did when I was new. So the first one is to write your sample work or article in Microsoft Word and save it as a PDF. That's it. You don't need to have a website. If you're after finding clients fast or launching your freelance writing career fast, you can simply start with a PDF file. Then second, I think my advantage was before even I started freelance writing, I have a personal blog. I have my WordPress blog. So some links to my blog articles, I use those as samples. So that my prospective client can see my writing style. So if you want to have a blog or if you're already a blogger, kung meron ka sa blogger.com, WordPress, or Medium, pwede LinkedIn blog, that can be your tool as a portfolio na instead of giving your clients an attachment to a file, you will send them the link of the sample works that you published. Right? I hope that tip would help. Let me check other questions here. What's the difference between per word, per hour, or per project? We got that question from Lynn. Yan, nandito pa ba si Lynn? Okay. So, it's good that you mentioned it. When charging for your services or accepting projects, check if yung job or work description is per word, per hour, or per project. When it comes to writing, I would recommend per word. Why? Because if I'm paid by the hour, the client would need to check like how many hours I worked on the project. And it could fall shorter than like how many hours I'd actually spend. At the same time, parang what if I'm really a fast and efficient writer and I produce a lot of words? Hindi ba parang I would be underpaid in a way? There are also tasks na per project which is bulk, but still, I would check how many words will that consist. So if per project siya halimbawa na let's say 100 articles, I would still check how many words per article would be required from me to submit. Because also, when it comes to computing how much time you will spend, usually it's advisable na you have your benchmark na per hour, ilan ba yung words that you can do? Is it 500 words, 1,000 words? So that parang when you also compute your time, you know if it's worth the pay that you would receive. Right? So, you can, kasi ang tanong niya, di ba, what's the difference? How would you know if which is better? I think you would know if it's better by comparing yung rates given by yung standard. Like I mentioned some websites earlier that you can go to. And kung freelancing communities naman in the Philippines, they would recommend at least 2 pesos per word. So, if you will also compute like based on your target number of clients or target income per month, para how many do you need to produce to reach that? Alright? Case-to-case basis yung pag-assess, but first check yung industry standards or how much like would be yung published rates from other freelancing sites on that project. And other tips on pricing, I also published this a free ebook that I hope you're able to read, yung Freelance Writing Blueprint. Okay. Parang nagulat ako biglang dumami na yung question sa list. So hindi ko na alam kung ano yung next. But let's try to find something na medyo connected with what I'm already discussing. How many samples do you need? If you're starting, I would suggest 3 samples. And sometimes, like, if you're targeting also different niches, like you want to test what if health muna in relationships, or what if you want to write about marketing or finance, parang gawa ka ng one for each of those. So that when you will send your sample, medyo match sa requirement ng target customer mo. What's the most challenging client that you had and how did you deal with it? And natutuwa ako sa personal questions, making me look back sa mga experiences ko, which is good. I think I have clients na I would stop working with them if what I do kasi for long-form content, like halimbawa, I do ebooks and training manuals. If I submit yung first chapter pa lang, and I would see na they would have a lot of comments that are critical and they didn't like my work, I would say na yung change that they need would take major revision, and I already gave them parang a sample with my writing style. So kapag ganon, what I do is I just back off from the project and say na if I revise or redo this, I don't think I'll be able to fulfill your need or satisfy your need. So, may mga time na, like once or twice lang naman yun, that I discerned na if I change this, I don't think he or she would select my work. They would ask to revise again. And for me, parang questionable yun kasi yung time that I will put, especially kung per word yung charge sa akin, para I would overspend na when it comes to giving my time for that. So, siguro I think for newbies, yun din naman yung something you need to prepare for, aside from rejection, would be saying no to clients or what if they made requests that you think that you can't do. So be prepared to have your ability to negotiate or voice that out or see how you can still prepare what you're doing. Alright. Let me see. How do clients contact you? Direct pa sila magme-message or there's a particular site. I think I showed the slide earlier about yung sa process of getting clients. So, 2 ways. There are clients who contact me, and there are also clients that I reach out and send proposal to. There's one particular site na doon ang mga clients mag-ask. I mentioned one kanina, yung I started sa freelancer.com. You can also go to Upwork or Fiverr.com. There are even clients sa LinkedIn. There are even clients sa Facebook communities or Facebook groups of writers. So, siguro that's a lot for you to try. But what I realized, like after attending webinars like this, iba yung getting the knowledge than actually going to the sites I referred. So for me, like I went to those sites, halimbawa yung sa Upwork, I tried to create an account, but I feel that it wasn't helpful or parang iba yung interface niya for me. I prefer another platform. So parang mas gusto ko yung Fiverr.com for me. So what would work for me in my service may be different with you. But what's good is that you try and see and go to those platforms. How do you file for your taxes, especially for dollar paid? So I am registered as a professional and I have a BIR receipt and I use an online taxing platform called Taxumo, if you're familiar with it. So I monitor yung sarili kong taxes through that. So I think even when you ask entrepreneurs or new freelancers, parang they would wait for a specific period before they would process yung registration. So make sure this is something that you'll do long term. Baka give it a test run muna ng 3 to 6 months and see if you will get recurring income. But if halimbawang employed ka naman, you still have your own PIN ID, that's what I don't know kung paano yung process because when I applied for mine, parang self-employed na ako or as a professional. So, yung submission of taxes while you're still employed, that one I don't know yet. Yan. Kung meron kayong resource na alam, type nyo siguro sa chat box, right? I forgot to press yung record button, but for some questions that I'm answering, baka I still can record them. Okay.
Recording in progress.
From Daphne, when providing rates for your write-ups, how much is too low and how much is too high? Especially when you're a beginner, sometimes you can't help but think, am I giving a rate that is too low or too high? Sometimes how you charge for your services would also depend on how confident you are with your skills, your knowledge about the topic being given to you, the time frame required for you to submit the output, the capacity of the client. Let's focus on those four. Like I mentioned, how confident are you of your skills, your knowledge of the topic, the capacity of your client, and how much you need to work on the project. Because those are adjustable. Parang what if the company paying you is a corporate client? Of course, they would have the capacity to pay you more than a startup owner. So, ibig sabihin, you would know that they would have the funds to hire and outsource. Same as with the deadline. Of course, if it's a rush order, you need to charge more. If you're given more time to work on the project, it means somehow you can give a discount because you're more relaxed writing. If you're familiar with the topic, it means you're a specialist in that, you can charge more. And first is how confident you are. Sometimes there are people who are less confident than their actual skills are. And I think that's where a coach like me comes in, or a third-party writer to tell you and say, hey, you have good skills. Hey, you should be charging more. Hey, I saw your work and you can be good at this, you know. And I think we all need that validation from others who have been in the industry to tell us or to be able to say, you know, you can actually adjust your pricing and charge more. I hope those tips help Daphne, but to be safe, you can always have parang 3 price points. Think what's the highest you can charge, think what's the mid-range, and think what's the lowest rate na papayag ka. Next, from Samuel, tignan natin how many questions pa. We still have 15 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, sakto. Right. I'm trying to enter creative writing. Are there other aspiring creative writers here like Samuel? Just say hi or yung emoji button na thumbs up so that I know. Where do they get to publish their work and get paid? As for those getting clients, what does one expect compared to other writing jobs? Usually, if you're a creative writer, you go to platforms that would publish novels, short stories, and have a marketplace or a group of community of readers. So, halimbawa, you're familiar naman with Wattpad or other novel platforms. I forgot the name, but there was parang a novel startup na app who also approached me if I want to submit parang works. It's yung creative writing is something that I have started back when I was in grade school or high school, but professionally or earning from it, I'm still starting. Parang I'm working on a romance fiction novel. So instead of selling your work parang as an indie publisher, kasi that's one way to earn, di ba? Pero as an author, yun, earning as an author. If you wanna earn as a freelance writer, go to sites looking for submissions of your work or clients na in need of your service. Kasi even authors ng novels or creative work, they would still need your skills. Yung iba, they would call it ghostwriting. They would say or claim it's their work, you're not acknowledged. The text came from you, the idea came from you, but they will use your work, they will use their own name as a published author. And there are jobs like that. Personally, I've written books, but hindi creative writing. I've written books where I'm the one who wrote, but I agreed that they would use their names as authors. Because first, yung outline naman galing sa kanila, there are personal stories from them. What I just did is added research, I also add-on services like editing, proofreading, etc. So parang ako yung partner ghostwriter, making their ideas come together and become cohesive. Alright? If there are follow-up questions, I really can't see kasi nasa Google document yung list of questions ko. Let me check. From Grace, another question about charging for academic writing. Is it better to charge for the whole work or per hour or per page? How much should I charge? For academic writing, I would still charge per word. But sometimes, I think if you will change your mindset na instead of a freelancer for hire, you're like a consultant. Sometimes you can influence your client on what the better way to charge is. From a perspective of a client, I think it will also benefit them if yung work is per word than per number of pages. Because what if the academic writer will submit double-spaced work or too big fonts? Depende sa standard of the client. However, if this is a publication company, if this is a textbook company, already asking you to write for them and meron silang parang industry standard of how they pay, may per page or per hour, then go with that. Especially if you're new, you also want to gain experience of working with them. So ask siguro people from the same industry, mga academic writers then. But so far, kasi I had writing projects na mga research din, and I would still charge per word. Donna, okay. Is this academy or what you're teaching same as how to create an ebook without an experience? No, Donna. Yung topic natin for today is how to offer your services as a freelance writer, meaning you are not writing your own product. Other people are hiring you to help them create their products, may it be ebook, articles, or other forms of writing. Okay, what are the tips you need if I want to start a blog with a niche in education? Where could I sell learning materials I would need? If you want to start a blog and want to offer materials you can sell in the future, you can use your blog and sell it among your subscribers. I think through yung email summary of our meeting and through the link, if Camille can, meron kaming blog article sa Writing Hacks blog na ang title is How to Create Your Blog for Your Business. Right? So that's also a trivia. If you haven't visited our website, we have blog articles you can use as free references for your research, and some of the questions you're asking, nandun yung sagot. Okay. How do you take, wait lang, check ko muna. Okay. Jeff, what happens when the blog or content that you've written for a client doesn't meet their promised numbers of views or clicks? Okay, I think yung tanong ni Jeff is more advanced. We have what we call kasing pwedeng search engine optimized article writers or SEO writers. And yung deliverable nila is not just the article. You are monitored based on how your article performs. So with this, if yung line ng service that you want to, where you want to go, you have to somehow gain knowledge or background about SEOs, keywords. If yung na-promise mo parang hindi na-meet yung expectations about views and clicks, check first yung binigay mo bang timeline, is it too soon to evaluate or measure? Ano yung naging effort mo to drive traffic to the site? Parang aside from internal keywords, nagkaroon ka ba na link building efforts? Nag-share ka ba ng blog or ask other articles or bloggers to post about it? So instead of letting them blame you, show them that you know the process it takes to drive traffic to your articles. So parang it's good na yung analysis of what went wrong and not would come from you and give them parang a report of how you can adjust it. Alright? 2 more questions here from Alexei. Okay. How do you take care of regular and loyal clients? Have you experienced missing a deadline? Okay. How about add-ons or freebies? For them taking care of regular clients, I think I will merge that with your other questions. One could be giving add-ons or freebies to services. If they are recurring clients, you can give them discounts. It's good that you raised about this because most businesses, parang 80% of their income or profit comes from 20% of their customers who are repeat clients. So that's where the bulk of the projects would come from. So mahalaga na inaalagaan din natin yung existing clients. So simply giving them updates, scheduling touch points, parang even after yung project was done, parang checking lang na how did our project go, or you still have yung need for a writer. I think that will go a long way. Yun muna yung advice ko kasi medyo advanced na yung you have your own email marketing, newsletter, you have a database of clients. Siguro, you plan those things na medyo advanced kapag nasa year 2 or year 3 ka na in freelancing. But if you're new, parang yung simpleng Excel sheet lang of your clients, their contact info, and scheduling a date lang. Like if you want na part ng quarterly calendar mo, or for every 6 months, meron kang isang araw na you just go back to check on them and see if they will need your service or have a referral. That can be something that you'll try. Have I experienced missing a deadline? I have missed a deadline. However, I don't miss the deadline without giving a heads up on the day or a day before that I need more time. So, it's part of the project management skill we need to have. I think if you can justify why you need more time, it's something that the client would understand. In the first place, it's good to parang under-promise and over-deliver, and that includes yung delivery frame that you have. So if in you know that you can finish an article, let's say, in 2 days, then when you give them yung terms about your service, mention that you will deliver it in 3 days so that you have a buffer. If you know you can write an article in 5 hours, don't tell them that you submit it in 5 hours or 8 hours. Dagdagan mo pa. So that you always have room for situations when you think you would need more time to work on it. Also, you will also, eventually, you will try to feel yung trait of the client. If it's someone na understanding or magiging comfortable how you work with them. With my clients now, I'm grateful kasi I really have clients na gusto nila yung rush. Parang from the start, how we would work together is having may enough lead time. If you think that a rush project wouldn't work for you, if it will cause you to be stressed or compromise the quality of your work, then you have to think if it's something you have to decline. Alright? Let me just check yung chat box if there are other questions. I think there's also one about yung freelance writing coaching program. Okay. Well, just to clarify, yung coaching program is different from the value. Yung value, like, I think one thing that someone, I think Yale clarified is yung meron nakalagay na 120,000 value, that's not the price of the program. So, computing lang yung value is like, kung merong monthly memberships sa ibang programs, at i-compute mo yun, yung magiging value nun, let's say, for 10 years, 1,000 a year, 120,000. Parang ganun yung makita mong value. But that's not how much you need to pay. Right? So, I gave yung link. Yung sa Penwires, you can check out the details for 8,000. For those who are saving, meron daw option to go just for the online course without the coaching. And if you will check yung link nun, yung sa freelance writing roadmap, that is on sale for only 1,500 pesos. So, if this is not for you, you think you're a good learner and an online course will be better for you to learn, go for the online course. If you need one-on-one mentoring, perhaps you already have your samples or you already tried getting clients but did not get the results that you want, I highly recommend yung coaching program or mentoring. Also, because yung investment mo for the registration is something you can recover as soon as you find clients. So, read through yung mga testimonials na lang sa page natin. Alright? Do we have any? I think
Kasi minsan, di ba may
we answered most of them, and it's time for yung promised time ko for us to go is 9:30. Now, may I ask Camilang to take a class photo, and I'll also allow you to show your videos or your face to the screen para we can get a screenshot. Alright. If there are other questions sa chat na hindi na-answer, we will gather them sa Google Docs, and yung email namin with the link to the recording, isasama na lang namin yan. And also yung certificates, to be clear, we do that in 5 business days. So answer yung form, yung attendance form until tomorrow. Okay? Ayan, I can see yung mga faces at saka yung mga nagbobonggahang background.
So, medyo marami po tayo. So, 3 parts siguro or 2. At least 2 parts.
Okay.
So, let's wait for the others lang po. Okay, ready na po?
Ayan.
1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, for a moment.
Ang ganda ng fan effect ni Alexei. Talagang may fan sa hair. Yan. Tapos ang ngiti ni Joy. Yan.
Yung second
Si
lang.
Jo, akala ko still photo. Para si Jo Benito. Yan.
Okay, so, sa second part po. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. Okay.
Sir Fergie, hello. I saw yung in-invite mo sa Pen Movers. Thank you.
Okay na po, Miss Shona.
Mama.
Okay na? Alright. Thank you so much, everyone. Keep in touch and also see you in future webinars sa Writing Hacks Academy. Good night and God bless po.
Bye-bye.